Hi, this is Bryn Bagley and Lindsay Prettyman, and we are a team that has been working on a unit geared towards preschool age children to help encourage them and their parents to get outside into the garden. So when we began, we had kind of an idea of what we wanted to do. We were thinking of doing a Mediterranean herb garden. I wanted it to be child-led, sensory experience. And so we started off with that, and then we did some user research with parents of children that age to find out what sorts of things they would hope for in a gardening unit and what sort of things they enjoy doing with their children and what sort of hopes they have for their kids. And we ended up with these objectives, which we then used to design a unit helping children and parents do gardening. And it ended up being more of an integrated unit than we had anticipated and more open-ended and adjustable, customizable than we had initially intended. So it was really a great process of doing user testing and figuring out what was needed and what was wanted and then responding to that. So once we arrived at these objectives, we then had the backwards design approach of using them to design activities that would meet each of these goals. So what we ended up coming up with as our product, based again on the initial survey from parents, is a printable. There's two pieces that are the main part. The first is a guide for kids and their parents that parents can print out either as a complete booklet or as individual activities. And so we're going to go through that and kind of show you what that ended up looking like and how that was designed. And to the side of that, you can see the parent guide. So this being geared towards young children, we didn't want there to be an overload of text on the child workbook. So we left that design more sparse and image oriented, and then the parent guide is for the parents to go through and be able to understand exactly what to do with their child during each experience on every page.
Okay, so with this is kind of like an introduction, once again, explaining what to do, and then we'll move into kind of a side-by-side comparison. First, we have this little introduction page where it lets kids choose how many activities they want to do. Kids are at different levels, kids are at different interest levels, and so we wanted to make it available to multiple types of kids instead of just having a set. You need to do all of this. So they can choose if they want to be a lively ladybug, wild worm, or busy bee, and then you utilize these check boxes to track their progress. We also have some start activities that we felt like were kind of key points in the unit that we wanted to make sure that every child was able to do, and you'll see those stars as we kind of go along throughout the book. So the first page we have, we wanted kids to start out with, we kind of had toyed with like having a journaling activity first, but we decided that we wanted kids to start out with getting excited, getting geared up to have fun in a garden. And so they, on this one, they are needing to go to visit some different things. They can go to a neighborhood gardener, they can go visit a garden center, just something and some books to get them excited about that. And then we also have this explanation of some books and things on the parent guide. And then as you can see, like this one, we have, this is our journaling activity, and it has a star on it. And the stars are once again, the ones that kids would need to do. Those are kind of like the required ones. And then as we just continue going through, we have making a plan. We feel like the plans are important. This is just kind of like a base for some skills, going back to that objective matrix of having responsibility that parents were wanting as we were doing user testing. I'll just kind of go through and you can see what we did.
All of these illustrations, by the way, are Lindsay's, and they're so beautiful. They turned out really well.
They turned out better than I expected them to. And I just wanted to bring your attention to this little book at the bottom corner. And we just added those books in to show that, you know, there's good text, child appropriate text that can go with those. So that's what those books mean. Like Bryn was saying, this ended up being a little bit more integrated than when we had originally anticipated it being.
You can see there's quite a few activities. So it's not designed to be just to sit down and fill out this booklet in one afternoon. It's really process oriented. So you can take one page and that's your activity for the day. And in the parent guide, we talk about that, not overwhelming the child or the parent, that just taking it slowly and enjoying the process is more what this is designed to do, because parents in the user testing really just want positive experiences with their kids. So gardening is the way to that. This isn't a comprehensive gardening instruction. It's more, how can I use gardening as a way to teach these things and have a good time with my child outside.
And that was something that was nice about ending up having this a little bit more open-ended, was because that, you know, when we had our original plan of, you know, this is going to be a Mediterranean herb garden, it just felt very stilted. It wasn't that creative process that we felt like gardening was. And so it was nice after some user testing and multiple iterations of prototypes and stuff that we ended up with this that was a lot more open-ended, a lot more customizable for parents and for children.
So the intended delivery method, this would be something that a parent would be able to just download, and as they download it, they would have the booklet, the parent guide, and then we'll show you in a minute, there's some printables that come with it. And we arrived at that decision based on survey results, again, of how parents find things to do with their children, what kind of things they are looking for. And the most common response was people preferred reading, activities outside, and something that they could download and print off. So we have all of those things in this unit. Then the unit kind of ends with the step of planting the seed. We've gone through all the processes of the preparing and the planning and the engaging with your community of gardeners. And then at the end, we make it clear that this isn't actually the end. This isn't the end of the gardening. And so we have a last page that kind of talks through to the child and to the parents, the options from here. What can you do now that you have started this garden? And again, we left it open so that parents can take it whatever direction they or their child feels like, intentionally leaving it to be that way so that it feels like they can make it what they want it to be.
And then hopefully this would allow parents and kids to get that gardening bug and to do some of their own research. I mean, this is a very basic, like, this is kind of how you do it, so bare minimum, so you don't kill your plants. But, you know, if this is taken through the season, hopefully it'll be something that will become a new hobby or something that the child and the parent enjoys doing together, and then they can do more research, which is why there's not quite as much detail on this page.
Yeah, and then again throughout there's lots of references to books and resources that if it's child appropriate, they can go and the parent, if they have interest, they can go and learn more. So yeah, this is hopefully, and the user testing that we've done has shown it's something that is meeting a need, and that will be able to help parents have some positive experiences with their kids outdoors.
Yeah, and let's move into those printables. So with those printables, these are just extra things that parents can use. There was one activity in the booklet that was a compost sort. So this would be the pictures to go with that kids could, sort which items are safe and avoid in the compost pit. And then with the garden task tracker, one of the things that parents really wanted to see was positive instances of like having more responsibility, of staying on task with like long-term projects. And so we felt like that this would be a good way and very open-ended that parents could be like, okay, what do you want to do this day? And you don't have to water every day, you don't have to weed every day. And so then that way it's a little bit, once again, more customizable, which was something that I think the parents really were wanting, just because not everyone has the same garden. Not everyone has the same time.
Or the same child.
Or the same child. And then this is just another activity of how much produce that you got. And we put these counters in just to make sure that, you're building that skill of how much, counting by fives, counting by tens. Yeah.
That's the unit. So it was a really great process of hearing and finding out what parents wanted, of creating things and changing things and ending up with a product that was different than we originally thought, but still addressed all of the objectives that we had set out with. And so that's basically the unit.